Right friends, welcome back to Current Affairs. This is Why and How. This is the second week, and here we are going to deliberate on the issues which require little bit more information. The first one is China launched its first train to London, first freight train to London, and China is aggressively connecting various European cities. And please look into this. This is 8th country to be added, and it is 15th city in Europe. It is 15th city in Europe, and this is with a view to give impetus to China's One Belt One Road initiative. We discussed in the newspaper editorials discussion with regard to One Belt One Road initiative, and please look into this. It is basically connecting other parts of Asia as well as Europe, Africa with China. China is to be connected both by road, train as well as through sea. Various countries in Africa as well as Europe are to be connected, and this is the basic purpose of this OBOR initiative of China. And at the same time, to improve or to develop maritime infrastructure, China is aggressively pushing for string of perils policy. This also please do not forget. String of perils policy is basically developing various ports, Hambantota port, Gwadar port, at the same time Kyakyu port, this is in Myanmar. So, developing all these ports to establish sea lines of communication, that is known as a string of perils policy. If someone talks about a string of perils policy, that also belongs to China, do not forget. OBOR belongs to China, and it is aggressively pushing with the freight trains. The latest one is to London. Please look into this picture. It passes through several countries. Kazakhstan, then Russia, then Belarus, then the next country is Germany, Poland, Belgium, like that it reaches London. Right friends, look at the second one. Union government launched Swachh Sarvekshan 2017, basically to rank 500 cities or towns across the country on cleanliness. Please do not forget, in 2016 Swachh Sarvekshan, Mysore was ranked on the top. 2016 Mysore got first rank, and this year as usual survey will be conducted once again. This is by Quality Council of India under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. And another important point is there is weightage is there, that means marks, 900 marks, 500 marks, 600 marks, something like that. And if you look at the Mysore city, this was ranked first during last year, as I have already told you. And what is the area of evaluation? Areas of evaluation are basically giving importance to three aspects. One is waste collection, sweeping and transportation. This has got 40% weightage. Open defecation free. Now, one after the other states are being declared as open defecation free states, and open defecation free has got 30% weightage, and several municipalities and corporations are now resorting to proper solid waste management systems, and that has got 20% weightage. So, if you look at the rankings, these three have got substantial weightage. And if you look at the next one, National Mission for Clean Ganga approved various projects under Namami Gange program in Haridwar as well as Varanasi. And here National Mission for Clean Ganga implements Namami Gange program, and other important aspect is it involves sewage treatment, infrastructure as well as river surface cleaning, riverfront development. These are the important aspects. So, under National Mission for Clean Ganga, this Haridwar and Varanasi, they are chosen under Namami Gange program. And look into the next one. This is Norway is the first country. For what purpose? Norway is the first country in the world to begin closing its entire FM radio network. previously the era of amplitude modulation or AM. Now it is the frequency modulation. Now Norway is switching over to digital audio broadcasting or DAB. So from AM we moved on to FM, and now Norway is moving towards digital audio broadcasting, and this is the shift in radio technology, and Norway is the first country to shift from frequency modulation to digital audio broadcasting. And the difference between digital radio and normal radio is similar to the difference between analog TV and digital TV. And if you want more information, here please look into this. There will be minimum loss of audio quality, that is one aspect, and sound is reproduced in near CD like quality by switching over from FM to digital audio broadcasting. Then improvement in quality, that is one aspect, and at present FM radio suffers from loss of quality due to interference caused by the signals bouncing off from mountains as well as huge buildings, and this disturbance will be eliminated. Incidentally, Norway has got several mountains as well as valleys, and digital radio gives out steady signal in any geography. And if someone talks about this digital audio broadcasting from frequency modulation, the country which you should not forget is Norway, and this DAB works by coding sound into digital signals, breaking them up and then decoding. So it breaks the signal, then again it decodes it. So that is the process of digital audio broadcasting. So this is Norway, please look into this map. So this is going to be the first country. Core sector growth was recorded as 4.9% in November 16 as against 6.6% in October 2016. So here 2-3 important points. Electricity has got the highest weightage, and this 8 core industries put together constitutes around 38% of weightage in Index of Industrial Production or IIP. So in Index of Industrial Production, 8 core industries constitute around 38%, that is one aspect, and electricity has got the highest weightage. This is generally asked question, and if you look at fertilizers, it has got the least weightage, and the second least weightage is natural gas. So these things don't forget. Professor David Seamley was appointed as chairman of UPSC. We discussed in the newspaper editorial discussion several aspects pertaining to UPSC, and he replaces Alka Sirohi, that is one aspect, and previously he was a member since 2012, and he is eminent personality on the history of Northeast India. And UPSC is established under Article 315 of the Constitution, chairman 10 members, and chairman and members hold office for a term of 6 years or 65 years of age, whichever is earlier. And we deliberated in the morning discussion with regard to constitutional provisions, Article 315, 316, like that we deliberated. So this Union Public Service Commission as well as Joint Commission as well as state commissions are governed by constitutional provisions from 315 to 323 articles. This one don't forget. The next one, Chennai firm Carbon Clean Solutions. This is converting environment destroying carbon dioxide into useful products such as baking soda. So here carbon dioxide is fed back into the facility to help produce chemicals such as baking soda. This is one good experiment because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas, and this Chennai firm Carbon Clean Solutions is diverting this carbon dioxide emissions for producing some useful products like baking soda. Let us see how it will transform in future, whether it is going to be scaled up or not, we have to wait and see. And here Canada, if you look at Canada, Canada is experimenting with carbon capture and storage. Please don't forget, if someone is asking you about what is the meaning of carbon capture and storage, the carbon dioxide coming out of power plants is captured and it is diverted. It is not, rather you can say, it is not allowed to emit into the atmosphere. So, that is the meaning of carbon capture and storage, right. Here CCS power plant in Canada is one example. Look at the next one. Union government issued notification for Indian Skill Development Services. Indian Skill Development Services. The selection will be made through Indian Engineering Services examination, and this will also be a Group A service, and the academy for training of the SCADA will be National Institute of Skill Development. Don't forget. Rajiv Pratap Rudy is the Union Minister of State for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and in future, just like any other service, you will have Indian Skill Development Service. It will be Group A service, don't forget. So, in future we will have Group A service for skill development. And look into the next one. Central Board of Direct Taxes signed 3 unilateral advance pricing agreements. You may have a doubt what is meant by advance pricing agreements. Advance pricing agreements are signed in advance between the tax authority and taxpayer. This advance pricing agreements are signed in advance. That means clarity in the tax matters will be there. Basically, when a multinational company is there, suppose let us take one example, Hyundai company is manufacturing cars in India. If it is selling these cars to its parent company in Korea, please understand carefully, Hyundai is manufacturing cars in our country. So, if it is selling cars to its parent company in Korea, the price involved is known as transfer pricing. Transfer pricing is nothing but the price involved between a parent company and its subsidiary, you can say. And in transfer pricing, there is sometimes a possibility for the misunderstanding, or sometimes tax related problems will crop up. So, as to eliminate such possibilities, this advance pricing agreements will be useful. So, advance pricing agreements will give some clarity about transfer pricing of multinational companies, right. So, this is all about advance pricing agreements. So, it will eliminate disputes in future. Look into the next one. Securities and Exchange Board of India amended SEBI Alternative Investment Funds Regulations 2012. And don't forget, venture capital, angel investment, private equity, these are examples of alternative investment funds. One committee headed by N.R. Narayana Murthy made some suggestions. Based on the suggestions, SEBI made several changes with regard to attracting venture capital into the country, attracting angel investment, attracting private equity. For all these things, SEBI came up with regulations, and here lot many things are modified. Angel investors can invest up to 5-year-old entities, and the lock-in period is reduced from current 3 years to 1 year. After 1 year, the investor can exit. That is the meaning of lock-in. Then minimum investment reduced from rupees 50 lakh to rupees 25 lakh. Then angel funds can also invest up to 25% of their investable corpus in overseas ventures. Other important aspect is upper limit of number of angel investors in a scheme increased from 49 to 200. So, these are the important changes made by SEBI in alternate investment funds, basically to attract more venture capital to the country. Venture capital is nothing but capital required by the startup firms, or you can say capital given to the startup firms. Look at the next one. Government imposed anti-dumping duty when the firms, overseas firms, are selling their products at less than market prices. Then anti-dumping duty can be imposed. And here two important aspects. Anti-dumping duty is World Trade Organization compliant, that is one aspect, and Directorate General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties recommends it, and finally Ministry of Finance imposes it. So, this is the basic thing you should not forget. This Directorate General of Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties, this is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, please do not forget, and that recommends the imposition of anti-dumping duty, and Ministry of Finance finally imposes. And another important aspect is West Bengal is suffering because of jute imports. West Bengal employs around 4 lakh people, and this anti-dumping duty is being imposed on these 4 products. One is a jute yarn, and then jute sacking bags, and jute twine, as well as jute hessian fabric. Look into the next one. India and Kazakhstan signed a protocol to amend DTAA. After amending DTAA with the 3 most important countries, the 3 most important countries are Mauritius, Cyprus, Singapore, because they are the conduits for round tripping. And now the government amended double taxation avoidance agreements with these 3 countries, and at the same time it amended with some other countries, and Kazakhstan is one such country, right. With the amendment of double taxation avoidance agreement, then the taxation will become source based instead of residence based. 16th meeting of Financial Stability and Development Council was held in New Delhi. You may have a doubt, what is this FSDC? It was first mooted by Raghuram Rajan Committee on Financial Sector Reforms in 2008, and it was established in 2010, and here Finance Minister is the chairman, do not forget, and regulators heads, that is RBI, SEBI, at the same time PFRDA, IRDAI, the heads are members in addition to Finance Secretary or Secretary of Economic Affairs, and at the same time Secretary of Financial Services as well as Chief Economic Advisor, they are all members of FSDC. Chairman is the Finance Minister, and you may ask what is the need for FSDC? I have given the logos here. So, the heads of these regulators are members of FSDC. The main purpose of FSDC is to enhance interregulatory coordination, at the same time strengthening institutional mechanism for maintaining financial stability. These things please do not forget. Then 14th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2017 was held in Bengaluru. Antonio Costa, the Prime Minister of Portugal, is the chief guest. That is one important point. Then it is biennial affair, that means it is held once in 2 years, please do not forget, and it will focus on social innovators, and 20 social innovations were highlighted. And another important aspect here as far as Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is concerned is this is to commemorate the return of Mahatma Gandhi on 9th January 1915 as a Pravasi from South Africa to India, right. Look into the next one. SBI is planning to launch branchless banking with the planned digital only bank. It is planning digital only bank. There is one bank, that is M Bank in Europe, at the same time Tangerine in Canada. So, these are examples of this digital only banks, that means branchless banking. There will not be any branches, everything is electronic, right. So, SBI will be the first Indian bank to launch DigiBank, right. So, it is in the proposal stage. Look into the next one. Public sector banks most likely to have more attractive pay packages. This was revealed by Chairman Bank Boards Bureau All of you are familiar with Bank Boards Bureau. Vinod Rai is the chairman. Recently he stated that to attract talent, it is going to be more attractive pay packages with increased bonus. At the same time, employee stock ownership plans or ESOPs and other performance linked variables in 2017-18, basically to attract talented professionals to public sector banks. Pakistan successfully test fired its first submarine launched cruise missile. This is Babar 3. Previously, Pakistan launched Babar 2 also. Babar 2 is ground launched cruise missile. Babar 3 is submarine launched cruise missile. This is the basic difference. Why countries go for submarine launched missiles? Countries go for submarine launched missiles because to have a second strike capability. Because when the ground infrastructure is destroyed by the enemy country, then the country should have second option, that is the meaning of second strike capability. Basically, this submarine launched missiles are examples of second strike capability. Please don't forget. And all of you are familiar, Babar was the first Mughal emperor. This is missile. Next one. Supreme Court directed the central government to audit nearly 30 lakh NGOs which received public funds but consistently failed to explain how they spent the money. These non-governmental organizations. In India, non-governmental organizations can be registered either as a trust or as society or as non-profit company under section 8 of Companies Act 2013. Previously, it was section 25 of Companies Act 1956. So, the non-governmental organizations can be registered in these three ways, but after registration, only 3 lakh filed annual financial statements out of 30 lakh NGOs. And there are General Financial Rules 2005 which mandate regulatory mechanism for the NGOs. Right friends, look at the next one. Supreme Court directed the Kerala government to release the entire compensation to over 5,000 victims and their families in 3 months. And this is with regard to the use of endosulfan, the most controversial agrochemical in Kasaragod district in Kerala, and the aerial spraying was done on cashew nut plantations. Because of the aerial spraying of this endosulfan on cashew nut plantations, more than 5,000 people affected, and Supreme Court banned this in the year 2011. Now the government stated that it will go for complete ban by 2017, and now Supreme Court directed that Kerala government should release entire compensation to over 5,000 victims and their families in 3 months. This is all about endosulfan issue of Kerala, right friends? With this, let us conclude why and how of second week. Please do join for facts and figures. Have a nice day. Thank you.